Hi everyone, welcome to the keynote speech for PyeongChang Peace Forum 2021. My name is Moon So-ri, the moderator for this session. This session will be on inclusive cooperation for peace in the post-COVID-19 era. And I think it will be the opportunity to hear the various opinions of the way how to establish the universal peace through sports and social businesses invited to honor the Nobel Peace Laureate. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce Executive Director David Beasley, United Nations World Food Program, and the Executive Advisor of Geneva Institute for Leadership and the Executive Advisor, Geneva Institute for Leadership and Public Policy, Arthur LINDSLEY, for the first session.
Well, David, thank you for being willing to share with us today. Let me give a quick introduction as to who David is. David's former governor of South Carolina and now executive director for the United Nations World Food Program. Under David's leadership, the World Food Program has just won the Nobel Peace Prize. The World Food Program is the largest humanitarian organization in the world, and I understand its budget has been about, was it 18 or $8.4 billion a year now. Under David's leadership, it's increased that much. David's also a valued friend to Connie and I. So thank you for being on with us, David, and for giving us your very valuable time.
All right, it's great to see you. It really is. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
You bet. It's great to be able to talk to you. When we had lunch back last April, you talked to us about COVID shutdowns and how it hurt the world's economy, leading to increased world hunger. What's the situation now? How many people are on the brink of starvation? Talk to us about that a little bit.
You know, when COVID was just coming on the scene back in early part of the year of 2020, I got a phone call from an old friend, Tony Blair from the UK, and Tony said, David, you travel around the world probably more than anybody and see a comprehensive picture. What do you think? And I said, Tony, what I'm very concerned about is everyone at that time was making decisions, healthcare decisions about COVID in a vacuum, not really appreciating the consequential dynamics. And I said, we've got to be careful. If we're not, the cure will be worse than the disease. We'll end up killing more people from starvation by economic deterioration. So we really have to work a hunger pandemic along with, at the same time, with a COVID pandemic. And the world responded, and we've really dramatically changed the dynamics of how we were working out in the field, so to speak. Now, that was back in March and April, and I spoke to the United Nations Security Council saying that we've really got to be strategic in how we approach these issues around the world. Now, before COVID hit, because of man-made conflict, the hunger rate, I'm talking about the severe hunger rate, those people that are marching towards starvation. The general hunger rate is about 700 million, but those that are marching towards starvation was 80 million when I arrived at the World Food Program 4 years ago. Prior to COVID hitting, the number had gone from 80 to 135 million, driven primarily by man-made conflict, coupled with climate extremes and fragile governance. But since COVID, the number has spiked. And I'm not talking about people going to bed hungry. I'm talking about people that are really don't know where the next meal is and they're marching towards starvation. That number has now gone from 135 million to 270 million people around the world. And we're looking at 36 countries that could potentially have famine this 2021 if we don't get the access and the funds that we need. So it is a very bad situation, Art, and if we don't get the monies we need, we will have mass starvation, destabilization of nations, and mass migration from those nations. So it's a lot cheaper to address the problem early on than wait after the fact.
One of the things you mentioned there too is the number of people that are dying per day of hunger. Do you know what that is and how that's increased?
Well, just to give you an idea, about 9 million people died in the world in 2020. About 1,008,000 or 900,000 died from COVID. And so it's not one versus the other. It just shows you how bad both are. So you do the math, and you're talking about every so many seconds, person dies on earth from hunger. And the shame about that is that there's so much wealth in the world today. There's $400 trillion worth of wealth in the world today. Not a single child or person should die from hunger. We have a cure for hunger. We have a vaccine against starvation. It's called food. And so we just need people to step up and do what we can to bring some comfort and hope to people around the world, Art.
Well, thank you for that. You've talked a lot, too, about the relationship between hunger and conflict. Can you unpack that a little bit and tell us what you mean by that?
Well, I could probably talk about that all day long, and I can assure you that people of South Korea know exactly what I'm talking about. And just a generation back, people were starving, struggling, and there's a clear connection between conflict and hunger, between security, peace, and hunger. In fact, we were able to get the United Nations Security Council to pass a resolution last year. The Security Council, which many times divided with Russia, China, and the West, actually came together on this very important issue, saying there's a clear connection between food security and peace and stability. In fact, that was one of the strong and clear messages that came from the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, because they clearly recognized that the work that the United Nations World Food Program was doing out in the field was bringing peace and stability, using food as a weapon of peace, when some try to use it as a weapon of war, or like extremist groups will use it as a weapon of recruitment by denying food. And so what we have learned over the years, and we survey a lot of people, as you can imagine, we are feeding about 100 million people right now as we speak on any given day, week, or month. And we're trying to move those numbers up quite substantially this year because of COVID. But for every 1% increase in hunger, there's a 2% increase in migration. And when you have spike in prices, you'll start seeing destabilization and riots and protests. So it's all interconnected. And so, Art, we know what needs to be done. We just need the political fortitude and the will to get the money to get the food in the places that need it most.
I really like that phrase, weapon of food is weapon of peace, that you used. I know we're at the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2021, and just can you unpack a little bit more, maybe an illustration of food as a weapon of peace?
Well, in many places, for example, when the day that I received the phone call from the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, I was in Niger, and I was out in the field negotiating access in an area where you had ISIS to the south and Al Qaeda to the north, for example. And if extremist groups can deny access to food, then when a mother or father hasn't fed their child in a week or 2 weeks, they have to join the extremist groups. And so we were out in the field negotiating access so that we could get food to people that would not have to join the extremist groups. Because then when as food is not available, they grow their numbers in terms of the militants and extremists. Now, in general areas, and we can show this from place to place to place, because we're in about 83 countries, Art. 80% of our expenditures are in conflict areas, about 60% of the people. And we see a direct connection and correlation between food and peace. And whether it's in the ISIS or Al Qaeda or Boko Haram or Al Shabaab area, or it could be in South Sudan or Syria, and many other places that we're in as we speak. And some entities will use food as a weapon of division, a weapon of war, a weapon of recruitment, violating your fundamental human rights. And so when we're there, and I can tell you, I can give you anecdotal evidence, and particularly in the Sahel, when we're there with food programs and school meals programs, mass migration drops off the chart. Teen pregnancy and 12-year-old marriage rates drops off the chart. Recruitment by ISIS or Al Qaeda drops off the chart. It's a lot cheaper for everybody to address it on the front end versus having destabilization and migration. And we've got a lot of statistical analysis because of the way we survey people when they don't have food, what happens, and there's a clear, absolute correlation. You can imagine in your neighborhood, if everybody in your neighborhood didn't have food, what do you think would happen? And you couldn't get to a store to get food. And if one house in the neighborhood had food, what do you think is going to happen? And we're dealing with that right now in Yemen. If Yemen ends up, because of the designation of terrorist organization, and if we can't get food into Yemen, which requires over 90% of all the food that goes that the people consume in Yemen comes from the outside. So if we can't get food in, imagine if I do have one truck going through a neighborhood and nobody in that neighborhood's had food in 2 weeks. What do you think is going to happen to my truck and my truck driver? It's not going to be a good scene. It's just common sense. And who would have ever thought in 2021 we'd be dealing with issues like this with all the technology and all the wealth? It's a shame on us. But South Korea has showed the way forward with this past, its history, and how to go from a recipient nation to a donor nation. What a story that you have right where we're talking about at this conference today.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about South Korea's involvement. You have any more specifics about it?
Yeah, I mean, South Korea has been a great partner. I travel there quite often. And out of all the countries on earth, South Korea is in the top 10, top 11 donors around the world. And what's good about that is you can imagine it was only a matter of 1-2 generations ago that South Korea was a recipient nation, receiving support from the World Food Program, a nation that literally was on its knees. But now it's a nation that has rebuilt, retooled, and is giving back all over the world. And I love meeting with the leaders because they love the World Food Program. They said, you were there when we needed help, and we're there when you need help. And so now we receive literally over $100 million from the people of South Korea because of their understanding the importance of this issue and what it means to their livelihoods, what it means to their children, and to a better future.
Can people give, like in South Korea and other places, give money to the World Food Program in order to give to North Korea? And what is the situation there? But kind of both questions together there.
Yeah, the situation is that people can give to us. We have an office in Seoul, so don't hesitate to contact our team there, the United Nations World Food Program. Please call them, go see them. They would love your engagement, love your support. You can also go online, sharethemeal.org, and donate directly. You can go to our World Food Program website, look that up, donate that way. Governments obviously are critical to our support. That's where we get most of our money, but also the private sector. But not just North Korea. We receive, as you can imagine, $8.4 billion, a lot of money all over the world. So we're raising money all the time, and we are a very efficient, effective operation. And so the people of South Korea have been tremendous donors to help people around the world, but also into DPRK. And I was there not too long ago, but because of COVID, it's pretty much locked down right now. And so I can't give you experiential up-to-date data. I have a team on the ground there, but restricted movement. I hope to be back in DPRK very soon, in the next month or so, as things lighten with regards to COVID, because we have a lot of concerns around the world. In North Korea, DPRK, we hope to help the children that we have many, many years. We've been there, Art, for about 25 years. And we've got the biggest, largest footprint on the ground. And I've met with the leaders on a number of occasions, having very practical discussions, very frank discussions. And I'm hopeful that we can be back in operating capacity like we were before once things open back up. And I hope that's sooner than later.
Yes. Well, the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2021 is, of course, focuses on peace and reconciliation around the world, and particularly with North Korea. But how can this forum really help to contribute to peace from the World Food Program perspective?
Well, Art, peace is a very elusive thing. You don't appreciate it till you don't have it.
Right.
And when you think about how much peace has been brought and prosperity around the world, not many people realize that 200 years ago, 95% of the people on earth were in extreme poverty. Extreme poverty. Today, less than 10. So I tell a lot of the young people, be careful. Don't tear down the systems that's helping 90%, sharing more wealth than any time in world history, to help the 10%. What we can't do is neglect that 10%. We need to improve the systems, tweak the systems, enhance the system, and reach that final 10% out there, because they are not experiencing this better way of life. And so peace is critical. If people don't have food, don't have some degree of economic and food stability, you will have conflict. You will not have peace. You will have war. And when you look around the world today, it's heartbreaking, Art, to see what's happening. In fact, the United Nations, and particularly with leadership like Ban Ki-moon, had established sustainable development goals for the whole world. One of them was to end world hunger by 2030. And quite frankly, that's doable. $400 trillion of wealth in the world today with our experience and expertise. But man-made conflict is driving the hunger rate back up when we should be eliminated by eliminating hunger. My goal when I arrived at the World Food Program was to put the World Food Program out of business because people would no longer need our outside support. I have not yet met a mother out in the field, whether it's a war zone or like Niger or Burkina Faso. I've not met one yet that wanted outside support. They want to take care of their own families. And when we come in and help them and strengthen them, I've had more mothers tell me, Mr. Beasley, I'm no longer taking care of my own family. I'm now helping my whole village. And if I can just grow another acre, I'm going to sell into the marketplace. And that's that entrepreneurial spirit of taking care of your village, helping your neighbor, and into the marketplace. And so that's where we want to be. And peace is critical to that. And it's why we need to build systems with our beneficiaries. We are rehabilitating land, putting in water systems to improve the quality of the community so they can be stabilized and have peace and not be vulnerable to extremist groups and extreme politics.
Governor Moon Choi, who's the governor of Gangwon province that is hosting this conference, really has a passion for this idea of peace and reconciliation, particularly with North Korea. Is there any way that we can establish a partnership between Gangwon province and the World Food Program, or how would we go about doing that?
Well, I would certainly hope so. And of course, we all know the sensitivity of the politics with regards to this particular area of the world. And so we are definitely open to ideas and thoughts and would be willing to sit down and discuss ideas. We're hopeful with all the troubles around the world that we would love to see the potential become a bright spot for the whole world and see these differences come to an end. Art, I know everybody where you are, where this conference is, and the governor are thinking the same thing. So anything we can do, any ideas you have, we look forward to talking about them.
Well, I would certainly want to talk to you for a long time, but I know you're very busy. And thank you so much for being willing to give us your time and this report for the PyeongChang Peace Forum. So thank you so much, and we'll let you go. Congratulations on the Nobel Peace Prize, and thank you for all the tremendous work you're doing.
All right, thank you. It's great to be with all of you, and blessings to you all, and let's build a safer, better, and a good world. We got a lot of work to do this year.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Executive Director, Beasley, and the Executive Advisor, LINDSLEY, for your outstanding conversation. So now we'd like to move to the special speech by the co-founder of Yunus Sports Hub and the Nobel Peace Laureate in 2016, Muhammad Yunus. Let us enjoy it.
Hello, I'm very happy to be with you today. I want to begin by thanking the government of Korea and Gangwon provincial government along with the city government of PyeongChang. And of course, PyeongChang Legacy Foundation. Today, I remember the day I was in PyeongChang in 2018 to watch the Winter Olympics. That was a fantastic experience for me. I'll never forget that. The setting and the enthusiasm and the warmth of the people, you're surrounded by it. And it was a great event. The whole world watched that event, the Winter Olympic 2018 in PyeongChang. But what makes it historically unforgettable is something else. It will be remembered in history. After so many years, something happened what the people of the world was wishing to happen, but never happened before. Winter Olympic 2018 made it happen. That was the most fantastic thing that goes with the PyeongChang Winter Olympic. When the North Korean athletes marched into the stadium together with the South Korean athletes under a common flag, it was an unbelievable sight for everybody who was present there. And I'm lucky to be one who watched that. I'll never forget in my life what I saw. And that has engraved in the minds of everybody's mind around the world. And very reasonably, in order to continue the legacy of that peace, a legacy foundation was created in continuation of that peace building. PyeongChang Legacy Foundation was a kind of expression of the common desire, common wish of the citizens of the world. So I'm very happy to be associated with the foundation. And I'm very happy that the PyeongChang Legacy Foundation created this event, PyeongChang Legacy Forum, every year to remember what happened in PyeongChang in 2018. And I feel very privileged to be associated with the foundation and with the forum to carry the flag of peace and legitimately, rightfully, that become the message of the PyeongChang path to peace. And that continued in organizing things, building the facilities built by the Olympic to make it available for building further peace, and that idea of permanent peace never to be forgotten. And we all combine our strength to make that happen as we go along. I created a forum myself called Yunus Sports Hub. This is an institution dedicated to bring the sports people and the sports admirers, supporters put together to use the power sports generates in dedicating that power in solving the global problems. And I always have been emphasizing that the sports is the greatest power that you can see. It's amazing power. It touches everybody, no matter who you are, where you are, whether you are young, whether you are old, whether you are the richest person, whether you are the poorest person, whether you are in the remotest person, whether in the metropolitan area. It doesn't matter. Everybody enjoys sports, athletics. And they devote their time and enthusiasm behind it. And the whole world get glued to the television sets when an event like PyeongChang Winter Olympic takes place and other Olympics take place. They enjoy it so much, those moments are preserved for the enjoyment and the happiness and the thrill of seeing one delegate competing with another delegate, one team competing with another team. We don't know the names of those countries. We don't know the identity of these people, but we became one with them. We feel excited about the victories they earn, and you feel sad when you miss it. And we cannot get away from it. And my point is, all these power of sports and athletics used up in commercial purposes, to sell things, to draw attention to particular product. And it becomes commercial. Sports become commercial, clubs become commercial. That's good. I'm not complaining about it. But my complaint is another dimension of that power, which we do not use at all. It remains totally unused. I'm challenging everybody to use that, to use the power of sports, power of athletics, to change the world, change the life of the people. Because we have that power. We demonstrate it, but we don't use it for another purpose. So I'm opening the door. The power was there, but the door was closed. So I'm opening the door so that power of unity, like it was demonstrated in Winter Olympic 2018, what the power was, which was not done by the United Nations, which was not done by any diplomatic exercises, was done by sports and athletics. That's the power. But that was a one-time demonstration. I said it could be done every day. That's where the legacy foundation's work and our work can combine forces to make it happen. And we created this Yunus Sports Hub for that intention, how to attract the power of sports in solving the problem of poverty, solving the problem of water, solving the problem of environment, and all the problems that we have accumulated over the years. And we can participate in it, make it happen, because we feel strongly about doing that thing. But there's no forum for us. So I hope we can build that forum together with the Legacy Forum, with the Legacy Foundation of PyeongChang, and along with our initiatives, combine forces with the foundation to make things emerge from this collaboration. And we have so many action points to make it happen. I'm very happy that the city government is supporting us. I'm very happy that the provincial government is supporting us. And I'm very happy that the Korean New Deal will support us. This goes very closely with each other. And that is the most exciting point about it. Because I like that idea. I like that idea about the New Deal. This focuses on digital New Deal, the Green New Deal, and about the social New Deal. You'll see tremendous amount of overlap between what we are saying, what the New Deal is trying to approach. We talk about 3 zeros. And the 3 zeros in social business that we work with, we say we want to build a new world of 3 zeros. 0 net carbon emission. We don't want to see this threat to global warming created by the global warming. And that's number 1 zero, 0 net carbon emission. And the second 0, 0 wealth concentration. Wealth is concentrated in few hands. Today, it's a very ugly situation right now we are going through. All the wealth of the world is concentrated up there in the sky, in the hands of few people. 99% of the wealth of the world is concentrated in the hands of 1% of the population. 99% of the population of the world has only 1% of the wealth. And all the people are concentrated in the bottom of the income level, earning $5.50. $5.50 a day are the people who are half the population of the world. Half the population of the world is under $5.50 per day. And then after that, half the population, you have it packed in the bottom. Then you have $10 a day, $20 a day, $100 a day. They take care of about 90% of the population. So the 90% of the population are all in the bottom level of our existence. But then you have the $1 million a day. They're way above. There are only very few, very minuscule, 1% of the people. They have the 99% of the wealth. If you're looking for the wealth, you don't see the wealth at this bottom level. Wealth doesn't exist here. All the wealth is up in the sky. So you have a big difference between the wealth on one side and the people on the other side. That's not a very peaceful world. So that's why, in order to bring peace, I think we have to work on this issue. Because poverty is a threat to peace. You cannot solve the poverty problem unless you address the issue of wealth concentration. So we are looking for zero wealth concentration, zero net carbon emission, zero wealth concentration, and zero unemployment. These are the 3 zeros that we work with. And these are like 3 deals: digital new deals, green new deals, and social new deals. When you address the social new deals, you'll be addressing these problems of peace in the society, so that you have a system of sharing wealth rather than concentrating wealth, taking away wealth. That's not the good system to work with. So we have lots of commonalities within us. We'd be very happy to work with the Korean government to talk about what we do, how we do it, how it will be relevant for your new deals, and where it can be applied. So this is how step by step we address the issues, and we want to bring the force of sports into it to build peace. Because if you want to build peace, it has to be done step by step from the bottom. That's what we are looking forward to. My journey began in the same way, in a situation where I was extremely frustrated. You know that I got involved and started what is now known as microcredit. It didn't come from some kind of research that I was doing at the university. Yes, I was teaching at the university. I was enjoying my teaching economics in the university as a young teacher. But unfortunately, the country, Bangladesh, was going through a terrible situation at that time when I became a teacher in Bangladesh. I used to teach in the USA, but then I came back in 1972 to see if I can be associated with the process of changes in Bangladesh. And what frustrated me, instead of improving the situation of Bangladesh, it continued to become worse and worse. And in 1974, we had a terrible nationwide famine. People were dying everywhere because they cannot eat enough. And that's not a very nice experience for a young teacher teaching economics, to see you teach elegant theories of economics in the classroom, and then you walk out, see that people are dying. And you feel it's such a mockery that you go through. You talk about beautiful things, but then your theory doesn't work outside your classroom. So I felt very disenchanted, very frustrated, very angry that I have learned something which doesn't help me do things the way I want to do. So I was trying to see if I can make myself useful in some way to the relevant people that I meet, people that I see in front of me. So one idea I have, why don't I go to the people who are just there outside the campus? And that campus is surrounded by 1,000-year-old villages all around it. So I can go there and see how people live, rather than talk about people inside the classroom without ever knowing who they are. So I started doing that. And the purpose is how to make myself useful to at least few people, 1, 2, 3, 4 people. I'm not ambitious. I'm not trying to change the village or anything. I thought economics never gave me any tools to do anything of that kind. So I wanted to discover my own work, more usefulness by doing little things for people. They may be needing these little things. In the process, I discovered another terrible problem, one after another. This is a loan shark. Loan sharks lend little money to poor people and grab everything they got. And it was terrible. People who are victimized by that so helpless. And I talk to them because I go to village every day, talk to people every day. So I keep hearing these stories from people that I meet, how they became victimized, they lost everything, they got worse and worse. And I also meet the people who are lending the money, the loan sharks. They think, oh, they are doing a good thing for people because they needed the money and he got the money. But I wanted to see how I can protect the people who are being victimized. So one idea that came to my mind, why don't I lend the money myself? If I lend the money to the person who needs the money, then his problem will be solved. He doesn't have to go to the loan shark. And I protected the person just by lending the money. It doesn't need a theory or anything, just a common sense. And I applied that common sense. I started giving money. People were very happy that I could give them the money and they could get the money from me. And the idea spread, and many more people kept coming. And gradually, it became, whole village got into it. And I saw that as it grows, I cannot handle it just by myself. I brought my students to help me as volunteers, so they were helping me. But then I thought I should make it a formal institution, a bank. So my journey began to how to create it into a bank. It's a long journey, but in 1983, finally, we got the permission from the central bank, from the finance ministry to become the bank. And we became a bank called Grameen Bank, or Village Bank. And the idea of lending money to poor people was described as microcredit. We tried to explain what we do is a non-collateral banking. You don't ask for any collateral, you don't ask for any property, you don't ask for any identification or kind of someone who stands for you as a guarantor. We didn't ask her anything, just on faith or on trust, giving them money. And it became very popular. And soon it became nationwide. The idea of microcredit spread all over the world, that there's another kind of banking without collateral, which can lend money to the poor people. And it spread even to Korea. So I was very happy that people liked that idea and so on. Along the way, what we are doing, we saw the problems of the poor people in the villages, not only about the loan shark, also about health, about housing, about sanitation. So I started addressing one after another. I created a business to produce toilet in the village so that we can give loans to the poor people. They can buy the toilet and set it up and pay that toilet loan over a long period so that it doesn't weigh heavy on them. It's just a tiny, tiny money. You don't even notice how much you're paying. And over time, you pay back the entire money for the toilet that you paid for. And in the meantime, you have a toilet in your home, and you are avoiding getting connected with the diseases, because when you don't have toilet, you will spread diseases not only for your family, for the rest of the village also. So I was trying to do that, and the toilet became a very popular subject, not only from the Grameen borrowers, also non-Grameen people. They are well-off people. They didn't have any toilet either. So this is what one after another. And I brought the healthcare program, introduced a healthcare insurance program so that I can provide healthcare to everybody in the village through the healthcare insurance, and brought solar energy in the village, started selling solar home system, a very small price. We said you just pay the money that you spend on kerosene for the next 3 months, next 3 years, and you have your solar home system paid for. You don't have to pay anything extra. Just pay the money that you spend for your kerosene. That's all, every month. And you do this for 3 years, we're fine. Everything is yours. You don't have to pay a penny. You don't have to spend any money for anything. Neither kerosene, nor solar energy, nothing. That's it. They loved it. So it spread all over the country. Our solar energy company became very popular. So we brought many other environmental things like the biodigester. There's a lot of cattle, a lot of possibilities of building biodigesters. So we did that. So we spread one after another. We created company after company to make sure we can address the people's health, people's sanitations, and so on and so forth. So that gave us the idea that business can be done in a different way. In all these businesses, there was no intention at any point to make money for myself or anybody who is running this. That was completely remote. All we wanted to do, whatever it cost, you pay me that money so that I can produce more. And I can grow because of that. And that's how it was. Then I saw this is a complete, when I got into debate about what kind of business is that, if you're not making money, I kept asking people, is there anything wrong with doing business without making money? Is the government going to take me to jail for that? I said, this is my desire, this is my wish, that's what I do it. And I enjoy it. It's fun to do that, to be able to solve people's problems. That was the genesis of what we now call social business. Non-dividend company to solve human problems. That's what we have been doing. And it is spread all over the world now and came to sports. Sports is a big power, as I was explaining to you. And sports people getting into social businesses and build their own future, at the same time solving problems for other people, and that's what. So this is, once you solve problems, frustrations are overcome, people's problems are overcome, then it becomes a world of peace rather than a world which has a tension, creates violence, and so on and so forth. So this is the direction I've been going through. I'm very happy that the Olympic people took social business seriously. International Olympic Committee is very serious about our work, how to collaborate with us. Now we'd like to see how we can work together with the foundation, with the Legacy Foundation. Olympic 2018 left beautiful infrastructures, and it's lying there because it has no sports use anymore. But it has many more uses. It can transform things and solve people's problems. One of the ideas that we are talking during the discussion, that why don't we try to bring tourism into it? Build the tourism so that people can come and enjoy their life. It's a beautiful place. And continue to take care of the beautiful infrastructures and so on, and for the benefit of the people. So you use the money to help the people who live there in the city of PyeongChang. And I'm sure there are many issues which needs to be paid attention to. We can do that through that. And one of the ideas that we created through our Yunus Sports Hub and through our centers and so on, associated ourselves with the Olympic 2024 in Paris. So we are saying that the entire Olympic in 2024 should be designed as a social business. And the Paris Olympic Committee taken it as their policy. Now they are building everything in the direction of social business. Everything they do in the Olympic, the Olympic itself will be a social business Olympic. Here is a post-Olympic. The Olympic is done, but now what do we do with the inheritance, with all the things that we have? Along with that, we have created the foundation, we have created the forum to continue the legacy that we built during the Olympic itself. So we have a big task ahead of us, and we can enjoy doing that. And remember that we not only had one event which is historical, but that historical has generated many historical outcomes. That's the challenge we have. If we put our mind, with all our creativity, we can make it done. This is the challenge we have to face. And I'm sure with this collaboration, we can make it happen and show that peace is not just one event peace. It's a peace which the seed was planted during the Olympic 2018, the seed of peace. North Korea, South Korea marching together, holding one flag. That was the seed. We planted it, and we kept on nourishing that seed, kept on irrigating that seed, and build up the giant tree of peace. And that's our task. So this is a next version, next edition of what we have done during the 2018. We carry it on 2021 to make it grow, and grow in various ways we never can think right now. But we have some direction what we want to do. We want to make sure this 2018 experience doesn't fade away. It becomes a flame again, flame of peace that we want to continue with. That's the challenge we want to take, and we can make it happen while we work together. I'm looking forward to working together with all of you and come back to PyeongChang and have more elaborate discussions with you, and looking forward to talking to government representatives who are involved with new deals. This is an exciting idea for me, and I'm sure you'll have many exciting things to do to those new deals, 3 new deals that you are planning to do. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much for allowing me to say a few words with you. I hope we will continue to work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your valuable opinions and experiences to the co-founder Yunus. And I'm very afraid of that this has come to the end of today's keynote session, but various sessions for PyeongChang Peace Forum 2021 will be continued. Please give your interest and support. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.